take a right. Where are we? It looks like we could be at the train station. Won't let me go any further, right? The old train station was quiet as a tomb. The only sound was that of the increasing wind buffeting the decrepit structure. Got dripping water again. A door, which I will gladly go through. More chairs. What is this? Okay, so it looks like that's a broken lamp. An old ticket booth that looked fairly ruined. Inside the ticket window were sheets of paper and... Wait, what were these? Train receipts? I thought the receipt I had picked up might match these, but of course not. The station had been closed for years. Aw, did you guys see my cat? Alright, the ticket must have been for the newer station that opened up on the other side of town after this one was abandoned. However, I noticed a series of fresher-looking paper covered in tiny notes, scribbles, and diagrams. So can I take those? It looked like someone had been leafing through the old ledgers looking for something. A name, perhaps? And no. That was all the information we're going to get from the ticket booth. I guess we go back through here. Let's go to the other side and see what we can find. Another door. An old map encased in glass hung on the wall. It was the train routes connected to that old station. As I looked at it, it seemed familiar. Of course, the map I found in those tunnels had similar locations marked, and the notes I found on the other man's bookshelf. His notes were... let's see, his notes mentioned the water tower and even this train yard. What was he doing coming back here? The sorry condition of that place seemed sad somehow, but also ominous. Alright, let's check out this door. Where are we going? Okay, so that takes us back outside to a really busted up train. In the torn opening of that ruined train were heaps of dirt and still water. At the bottom I thought I saw a scrap of cloth. As I looked closer I could see that it was definitely some kind of nylon, maybe a windbreaker or some other outdoor clothing. There was too much of a mess on the ground to see any kind of footprints, but someone or something had definitely trod a regular path. So let's try clicking it again just to make sure. The wind was biting through my thin clothes and I wasn't sure what else to make of the place. Okay, so I'm not getting much more from out here. I guess we can go back to the building and out the other side and we can go the other way. Nothing. Well, let me go that way. So we're going to go back through the gate. And through this one. And we have found a sign. This must have been the entrance to the forest that was mentioned on that map I had seen. Whoever was poking around in those tunnels underneath that man's house had scribbled notes on this place, but I couldn't make them out. Here, the sign pointed out various campsites and walking paths within the woods. It mentioned a river and maybe a washroom, but the rest was too faded to see clearly. I almost wish I had paid more attention to those crazy scribblings. Maybe I would have been less nervous about entering that dark forest. So it looks like there's an entrance there, and an entrance there, and nothing here. So we'll go through the first entrance. Hopefully this place isn't like a labyrinth, and I get lost. Okay, so nothing that way, but if we go left, I come across, trampled into the dirt and grass was a plastic card of some kind. I brushed it off and was surprised to see it was my credit card. I wasn't sure if it was still usable, but it was mine. Did I take back my credit card? Yes. I pocketed the credit card. Hopefully I could find my driver's license too. So there's an opening there. Let's keep going this way. Through the fence I could see a dilapidated outbuilding. I wondered if I could find my way around. So it's not going to let me go any further than this. Let's try going through this entrance. Anything this way? Another entrance. Oh, controller. There was a fire pit there. It was still a bit warm and a few embers still burned at the bottom. Was someone else out in those woods? Why did they abandon their campsite? 2 folding camping chairs were on the ground. One was knocked over. There were a couple of cans of beer spilled on the ground. Whoever was here left this place in a hurry, but why? The cheap dome tent slept 2 people. I shone my flashlight inside and could see some bedrolls, 2 backpacks, and a cooler. I felt like if I kept rooting through the campsite, someone would walk in on me. Anything over here? Nothing. Excuse me. Which one did I come through? I should have seen this coming. Controller. What is that? There were some personal effects shoved back into the rock. Wait. There was a notebook there too. Did I read it? Yes, why wouldn't you read that? Inside the cheap dollar store notebook was page after warm page of names and lists. None of it made much sense. The newest page contained several names: Heather, Olivia, Ashley, Cheryl, Iris, Daphne, Holly, Rose, and Rachel. Rachel. Her name was last on the list and had a mark beside it in blue ink. The names Daphne and Olivia had been crossed out in the same blue ink. Cheryl, Heather, and Rose had also been crossed out, but these marks look older and more faded. Can I go this way? Nope. So we'll go back through here. It seems that these boulders are indications of walls. You can't go past them, I think. Did I come through here? Oh, okay. No, 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 no. Oh, I think this is that outbuilding. Let's see. The grimy sink had a small patch in it that looked almost clean. There wasn't much in the way of clean water there, but the sink did work. A musty wooden plank propped up the stall door. It didn't really seem useful. Did I bother? Yeah, let's take it. Why not? Wasn't sure why, but I took the plank. The washroom stall was filthy and disgusting. I wanted to get away as quickly as possible. Anything else? Nope. Alright, so this was the way I came. Let's go back through here. A broken down sign. Sign was the same as the first one I had seen. This must have been the exit to the other side of the woods. Or maybe it's not broken, maybe it's just angled. I didn't know who was camping back there, but I couldn't bear to stick around to look for them. I just wanted to get out of there. Anything else? I didn't? Okay. I had finally found the exit. Once I left, I knew I never wanted to return there. Let's go. Let's get out of here. Through the dense trees, I could finally start to see some light. I must have been at the edge of the forest, though I wasn't sure where the path ahead of me led. I could almost feel the cryptic notebook in my pocket as I tried to think about what it could mean. And where were the campers who had abandoned their site? Would I meet them too? Though the path ahead of me was less dense, I still felt guarded and wary. Who knew what was ahead? Okay, so I didn't find my ID card. Maybe I'll find it out here. As I stepped through the gate, I suddenly recognized the auto parts factory where I had worked as a machinist for all those years. The plant had closed almost 3 years ago now. Times were better then. I thought I could hear a faint rustling behind me. Maybe it was just the wind. Okay, so there's buildings in the background. Do I go through? Let's go through here. Let's go back outside. Let's check. Let's check out here before I go through a building. I thought it might have been a gate, but I'm not positive. Of course, there's a dead body. I found the body of a security guard, just doing his job, no doubt. His face was covered with blood from some kind of head wound. I wondered, was this flashlight his? What we got here? Dug into the ground was a cracked old watch. First my wallet, and now this. Did I retrieve my watch? Yeah, let's get my watch. The watch was useless, but I put it on my wrist anyway. Nothing here. So I wished I could remember. Why was all my stuff missing? Probably because you killed everybody, and it's stuff they ripped off of you. I saw the blunt wound on the guard's head and looked again at the flashlight I was carrying. Oh no, please. So the knife I'm carrying stabbed the body of the guy in these sewers, and the flashlight I'm carrying bludgeoned the head in of that security guard. How ironic. One of the lockers hung open. Its contents were tossed around like someone had been looking for something. Old work clothes had been picked through, and a few photos and notes had been ripped off the door and spread around. There's a large power box with 5 lights on it. Cables burst out of the box, snaking off to other parts of the factory. The metal was starting to wear, and cobwebs had collected on the corners. The box wasn't receiving power. The door was locked shut, and there was a little electronic box under the handle. A sign was pasted to the front that said, "Danger, closed for repairs." The door was locked tight. It didn't look like the power was on yet. Okay, so obviously I'm going to end up turning that power on. Make sure there's nothing else. Okay, nothing on that one, and we're going up. Every part of this plant smelled old and rotted. I noticed the old bulletin board on the wall. The board contained yellowed clippings of newspaper cartoons and notices. There were notes to and from the guys that worked here. One of them was to Norman, who was one of the older guys on the line. Anything else? Norman took over a general store after the factory closed. He, Rachel, and I would get lunch every now and then. Rachel liked him because he seemed more positive despite the setback. I don't think I could say the same about me. So I'm bitter about the place being closed. Alright, it looks like I can use it. Let's just look in this locker first. The open locker was stuffed with dirty work clothes and old boots. There was a photo of a woman taped to the inside, but it was scratched out and the face was unrecognizable. That woman's photo. I knew I had to get back to Rachel to find out what happened. Anything down here? Okay, so there's at least 2 electric panels, but where do they go? I don't know if there's a point in clicking them yet, because it looks like there's at least 3 settings. So we're going to keep looking and see if we can find an actual diagram before we start smacking stuff around. Let's go through this door. What we got here? Our old break table, a layer of dust and grime, only made seeing this sting more. Looked like some beer bottles had been used on the table recently. I wondered, was that guard using this as a break room of his own? Okay, let's go upstairs. Hopefully I can find some stuff. Door had been hastily boarded up. This was Norman's locker. The door was dented like someone had punched it. I don't remember him doing that when we worked here. My head ached, and I recalled the last time Norman, Rachel, and I all had lunch together. Rachel seemed so much more at ease when we all hung out. So she's uncomfortable with me? Maybe I make her nervous? A utility shelf crammed with mismatched tools and items. There was a claw hammer on the shelf. Yes, let's take that hammer. As I took the hammer, I noticed it wasn't as dusty as the rest of the tools on the shelf. Being useful and productive there in this plant. That was all I ever wanted. When the factory closed, everything got worse. Okay, so I'm a little crazy. The locker was a complete mess. Hidden at the bottom, though, was a magnetic card. We're going to take that card. I slipped the key card into my pocket. And 2 more things. So I'm going to go ahead and go downstairs, because if I'm not mistaken, that one locked door had a key card slot beside it. And we will see if there's anything in there that will help us with these panel switches. Alright, back through this room. And all the way across. Let's see if it'll let me in. Yes. I think it's funny that the keycard reader still works, but there's no power. Okay. There was some kind of ventilation hatch here. It looked like I could jump to the room below. My leg hurt enough as was, but I could see it. Let's not jump. I really... Okay, I guess I'm jumping down. Fuck it. Oh man, my leg hurt like hell. There was a crumpled up letter on the floor. It had been scratched out heavily and it was hard to make out. Did I try to read the letter? Yes. Most of the letter was violently scratched out with what looked to be a ballpoint pen. All I could make out was "need to." Just don't drinking need Norman. Who was Norman writing to? That poor guard. Was the flashlight I carried his? It looked like he had met his end violently. I only hoped it was quick. I had to get home to Rachel, but I couldn't stop thinking about Norman. He and Rachel were friends. Could he help it? It wasn't like I really had anyone else to turn to. My leg burned with pain. I only hoped I could find my way through the dark path before me and get to Norman's store.